Hi, guys. Welcome back to Once More with Abby and Claire. I believe this is our fourth episode, but I'll probably stop counting now because I know I'll get confused. But I am Abby Road Rage, as most of you know me, and my better half, Claire Bacon, aka Slutty the Clown. How are you today,
Good
Claire?
evening.
Good to see you. Yes, it is evening there, whereas mid-afternoon here because we have a bit of a time difference. And as you all know, we started this channel for a love of Buffy and something to talk about. So we've restarted the series. If you haven't previously watched, go back and check out the first couple episodes we did. They're not long and they're fun and we're adorable. So
yeah, we are adorable. You are so right.
Adorable. This week we are tackling episodes 8 and 9, I, Robot, You, Jane, and secondly will be the puppet show. So we're going to start with I, Robot, You, Jane, which honestly most of the internet hates. I don't hate it. Is it the best episode in the world? No, sorry, I had to scare my cat. But no, it's definitely not the worst. Let's put it that way. So
no, it's not the worst at all.
It's not the worst. So basically, we're introduced to Ms. Jenny Calendar, one of my favorites.
Yeah, of course.
And I have her name here. Ms. Calendar is played by Robia Scott. She is what we find out later is a techno-pagan. Well, anyway, she is the new computer teacher at Sunnydale High. And she's gorgeous. She's stunning, and she makes Giles very nervous. And you could tell right now there's going to be some sexual tension on the later days.
It's kind of already there, isn't it?
Yeah, she comes right out with it because she feels he's stuffy in English and too stuck in the past, as it were. A quote that I like right at the beginning: they're all in the library scanning in the books to make them digital. And Fritz being an interesting fellow, says the printed page is obsolete. Information isn't bound up anymore. It's an entity. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked up, you're not alive. And as we know, that's ridiculous. But this goes to show you a little bit about the episode. And actually, Miss Calendar thanks him for like being a freak in front of him.
Yeah, but, basically, yeah.
So, yeah. We are scanning books. Willow scans a book into the library after hours, as everybody else has separate jobs to do. And it possesses the computer.
Basically, the soul goes from the possessed book, where they've bound it, into the computer and the internet.
Yeah, so the flashback scene, a bunch of monks securing this demon within this bound book and keeping his soul in there forever. And when the book is scanned, it is technically read in computer language, and therefore releasing the demon, however, into the interwaves and not the actual body of a human. So what he needs to do is get a little army going, which first thing he does is make himself into a fictional boyfriend for Willow. Was it Malcolm?
Wonderful Malcolm Black.
Malcolm. And he's everything Willow wants. And he pays attention to her and he tells her how beautiful she is. And she is smitten like a kitten. Buffy obviously is, first of all, a little put off that Willow doesn't tell her about this, that sort of keeps it a secret. And I think that's what makes it a little more uncomfortable in Buffy's mind. And as we know, Buffy she's like a dog with a bone every now and again. So she keeps asking and asking and asking, what do you know about him? He could be anybody. She even takes it to Xander, who's like, go Will. And then she's like, but he could be anybody. Or I guess Xander was saying that first, that he could be a,
I think it was on the first, but Buffy was equally, once it was kind of posed to her, equally as worried. Could be anybody.
I think that made her more worried that now she's with a murderous man. So it was an Italian friar, Theonius,
I didn't get his name.
Circle of Payless ritual to capture the demon Malcolm the Corruptor into a book, hoping it would never be read. Hoping that it would never be read. I'm pretty sure at some point, there's got to be a way to burn
Somebody's going to open it.
Yeah. So, needless to say, Buffy is concerned. There are people, as they always are. Things start happening. I'm trying to think if anybody disappears or if it's just Dave and Fritz, the two computer.
Yeah, it kind of starts to be a bit odd.
Yeah, they're kind of acting up and being weird, and Buffy's sent messages to leave it alone, leave Willow alone, leave Malcolm alone. Dave tells her, leave Willow alone. It doesn't concern you. So she assumes that it's Dave, that he's the one.
Well, you would.
As one would.
Yes. In those times where it's like this week, we're kind of coming into that digital age. They're trying to push that forward.
I have 2 cats that are being troublemakers. So, anyway, Dave comes up to Buffy later once Buffy starts sniffing around, and Dave is told to stop her at any means necessary. He
Lots
tells
of kill
Buffy,
her things also.
Yep, kill her. Dave tells Buffy, Willow wants to meet you in the locker room. So you got to go to the locker room. And as she is in there, we notice water's running, but she's like, are you in the shower? No, you're not here. She thinks something's up. And at the last second, Dave issues a warning, get out, and she jumps back just in time to stop being fried as
I think Giles says later, if she wasn't a Slayer, she would have been fried.
She would have been killed, but instead she just got blasted and her shoes got a little ruined. So they're all like, well, I know it was Dave. And she's like, you know what, though? Dave helped. Like, he was the one that gave me the warning. Yes, he sent me there, but then he gave me the heads up, which, kind of saved me. So then Dave just goes back and says, you know what? I've had enough. I'm not killing her. I'm not doing this. And the computer's like, but you have to. And he's like, nope, I'm out. And we turn around and then Fritz is there. And Dave is
I don't like that guy.
No, I didn't like him at all, even before you knew he was supposed to.
Even if there's demonic possession going on, he's kind of a dick.
Even without the demonic possession, he's kind of
exactly. He wasn't a great guy to start.
No. So basically what we learn about Moloch is he is a demon that gets people to love him and offers them everything so that they'll give everything to him. And he's trying to get back into his power and get a body. And he wants basically to take over the world like everybody else seems to want to do in the show. I don't want to. That's a lot of work. But
it seems like hard, doesn't it?
We find out when Willow is kidnapped by Fritz, and we find out that Fritz has built like a mega body for him, like a computer robot body, and put so because he can take over any computer system. So he really wants to be flesh, but at least this way he has some solid movement and he can knock a bitch out or something. So, and we realize when Jenny Calendar and Giles are looking through the books to find out what might have happened to cause a computer to be possessed, they find this book from the Friar that's now completely empty. Once it got read through the computer, all the words got taken out because it was a spell. So once they determined it was not a diary of sort that had yet to be filled out, Giles has to come up with a way to get Miss Calendar's help because he is computer illiterate and she is pretty damn smart. So that's when we find out that she knows what's going on. She's ahead of the game. She is, again, something called a techno-pagan. So she practices witchcraft, but more than just books and pages. Now, Giles does give a whole thing about, what is it about computers that you don't like? And he said, the smell. And she said, Giles, the computers don't smell. He says, no, they don't. And smell is the biggest receptor and the biggest memory keeper, and which is so true.
The thing that triggers memories.
What we love about books is the smells that you associate, musty and you know, it's you know, walking an old bookstore is the best thing in the whole world.
Yeah, it's great.
So the two of them come together, and Giles reads and she types, and you know, they manage to thwart Malcolm or Moloch at the end. Anything else you would like to add on this? I like I said, people don't love this episode. I don't hate it. I
like a favorite. It. There was a couple of points that I had where it's like the Jolly Calendar thing with the techno pagan. Great term. I love that.
Love it.
We'll forever use it. It's ungatekeeping, which is really, really nice. But what I do find is, I think, obviously, without giving the game away to no spoilers, but we have spoilers. It's been out 30 years.
25 years.
Yeah, it's been out a long time. But I feel that was possibly, looking back today, a bit of a lie, because we know that she's actually Roma blood.
True. We learned.
And I felt that today when I heard that. I was like, no, that's a great term. But then I feel like this moment she's not telling us the full story. And I've kind of not realised that before, I don't think.
Right, because we didn't know what we were supposed to expect from her before, and we didn't know her outcome and how valuable and tragic her character would end up being. Stay tuned. No spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. No spoilers. But, you know, she's technically possibly got more of roots in, say, mystical arts than.
But I also don't know if she knew how powerful she was until she started looking farther. She is powerful innately.
Yeah.
And I think with the help of Giles and the gang, she explores other sides of her power. And maybe that's where it actually grows, as opposed to her just keeping it from them. She may not have even had a clear scope on what she could do.
Well, we've had that as well with other characters that didn't realise their potential.
Right.
So later on, if we go that way. I think the only other thing was, I liked the metal version when it was encapsulated into the demon. It kind of looked like it was like Cyberman vibes.
Yeah, exactly. It's what was I calling him?
It had like a Cyberman demon kind of. Hang on, I wrote down exactly what I thought. Yeah, demon Cyberman vibes. Yeah, it's kind of that.
Love me a good Cyberman, as we know, but that's a story.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, great episode. And I don't know why it's unloved. I like it. I think it's a great episode.
It's not a favorite, you know. It's just, I think these next two, not that they're my least favorites by any means, they're just not ones that, they stand out for different reasons. I think this one stands out for the introduction of Jenny Calendar, and I think that's huge because she becomes an important character in what we go through. And
it's a very character establishing episode for her. It kind of gives you who she is as such, for what we know,
comes in swing, you know. You're like, oh, she's cool. I like her. You know, she's attractive. She's smart, but she's sassy. And we love sassy.
Joe says hi.
Hi, Joe.
From Perfect Third Podcast. Hi, Joe. We love you. Thank you.
Perfect Third Podcast.
Crash out last week. We love you very much.
You guys are awesome. So, so that's my thoughts on iRobot Eugene, which is cute in its own right. Sadly, Malcolm we don't think he's destroyed, right? He's just sort of vanquished for now, because I know he doesn't come back to say,
I mean, the soul went into the robot as such, and then they kind of said that
destroyed.
Yeah, so I mean, is he still? Is he?
I think there's always chance for more.
Yeah,
put that in the back burner.
There's always a secondary thing that could come from it. We never know.
You never know, or we might have missed it at some point, because they bring up all these little quips every now and again. And rewatching it, we're going to know if his name comes up again. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I find that does happen a lot all the way through every season, every episode. There's always a go back to something else or a reference, and I think that's what's great about it. The Easter egg theory, I think, anyway.
I agree with you. I agree. So then I think we'll wrap up iRobot Eugene,
Yes.
unless you have anything else to say. We
No,
talked a little bit about the music, but there's nothing in this episode.
no, and there's nothing in the next, so I'll leave the music of anything I was gonna kind of bring up
To
till
the
the
end.
end, and we'll
Okay.
do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So the next episode up is called The Puppet Show. School talent show. Nobody likes him, but we do get introduced to Mr. Snyder, who is Mr. Flutie, R.I.P. Mr. Flutie, his replacement as new principal. And Mr. Snyder, Armin Shimmerman, is, forgive me, but the biggest bastard you'll probably ever meet. Even if he isn't innately evil, you know, he gets glee out of torturing students.
He loves this. His life is to totally torture people.
Yeah, you could tell he was beat up a lot in high school and put in a lot of lockers, and he's taking it out on the kids now. And this is just from first impressions. This isn't even from later on. This first episode, he's a douche right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But poor Mr. Flutie, you know, he kind of got devoured. So
definitely.
Mr. Snyder is very big into discipline and consequences, and you know how much we love those things. So he's already on to the fact that Buffy and Willow and Xander, you know, cut town yesterday at lunchtime.
They're bad kids. They're already the bad seed.
Yeah,
quick comment from Joe from Perfect Turd. Haven't watched Buffy in years. Gonna have to go back and retrospect them along with you. We'd love that. And if you want to come and talk to us about it, that'd be great, Joe.
Seriously, and if you want, so next week, we'll just do the next two next week. But we always love to have a guest come on and chat with us.
Anytime, any episode. Come and see us. Sorry, Abby, continue.
No,
sorry.
Okay. I was actually just looking up to see what the next two are going to be. Nightmares and Out of Sight, Out of Mind, and then Prophecy Girl. So we're going to have to look. Prophecy Girl might have to get its own. Maybe we'll do the end of 12 and the, you know, the anyway.
Yeah.
Joe, we'd love to have you. That's all.
That's all absolutely.
So Mr. Snyder, such a great actor, but so good at playing a douchebag. So so as we know, the school is on a hellmouth, and that does sometimes insist that Buffy leave school or something like that. But because of this, and because they need punishment, Mr. Snyder has insisted that they perform in the school talent show, which, as we know, is just death, worse than death. Giles has been talked into being the director, I guess. Is that what he is? Whatever, the guy in charge.
I think the director or teacher in charge of production manager.
Yeah, I like it. It's great.
But yeah, definitely it's not right.
You know how much he loves frivolous talents on children. So he's having a great time. And Buffy, Xander, and Willow are desperate to get out of it. But at the same time, we find Emily, who is a dancer in the talent show, found with her heart cut out. And the one thing that they do say is that demons don't usually cut things with a knife. Like, it's, you know, a lot more ripping and growling.
Claws.
But so somebody has stolen her heart, and but there was a knife laying next to the body. They've determined it is the murder weapon. So they start kind of screening people, figuring somebody's got to be in the talent show, maybe wants to get rid of the competition or what have you. And we get introduced to Morgan and Sid. Now, a lot of my friends really don't care for ventriloquist dummies. I know there's some fear of dolls that move. As a matter of fact, my mother won't let me watch Chucky or anything like that in the room.
I can understand that, but me personally, as we know, I love that stuff.
I know, I do too. I have no problem with it. But
awesome.
Sid starts, we see that Morgan is terrible as a ventriloquist. His lips are moving. Everybody can see it. Well, then Sid starts quipping with him, and they go, oh, he's really good. He can't even see his lips moving. And Sid with the one-liners, playing the horny.
It's such a creepy voice as well that they used for the real Sid.
It's very like what's the like
avant-garde vaudeville.
Yeah, it's
90s,
very old
30s, and he's pretty much a perv also.
Oh yeah, pretty much a perv. He's hitting on everything and anything.
Yeah, anything breathes.
And we hear Cordelia's dulcet tones while singing.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, just as beautiful as her little black heart is.
Yeah.
So she's not. What was she singing? Greatest Love of All? I forget.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
But yeah, she's not good, which is good because she's gorgeous and she's an asshole.
Yeah,
but I'm glad she can't sing because if she
and plays the character amazing, you know,
plays the character amazing. Because
you hate her, and that's what you want at this point.
You start to like her, and then you're like, oh, well, she just got better. But no, she's an amazing actress. She's fantastic.
Does her job.
So we have Emily down. They start suspecting Morgan Shea because he's a weirdo with a ventriloquist, and he never lets go of the doll. And he starts getting in trouble in school. As a matter of fact, the teacher takes the doll away from him and says, you can get it back after class. And Buffy then sneaks off to, now that he is separated from Sid, to go sneak off and try to find Sid. And this is before that, Xander steals. She goes to the office and she tries to take Sid, and Sid's gone. So Xander has taken Sid to the library, and he thinks he's hysterical.
There's a great reference from Xander at the point with the red room thing when he sat with the puppet around the table. And he's like, it's just an inanimate object. And he's got the puppet, and he's like, red room, red room. And it's so good. And it really made me laugh. It was really good. And
this is so, it's Buffy, so it's not going to be a simple ventriloquist dummy.
No.
So basically, Sid gets. Does he give? Now I forget, but I guess Sid gets back to the kid. He's given back, and then the next day, Buffy goes.
I think they find the kid dead.
Yes, but after
first appears and he gets into a fight with Buffy.
She breaks in his locker, and Snyder catches her. And says, oh, I have to pick this up for my friend, and then finds that Sid is not in the case. They close. Oh, he must have gotten it already and forgot to tell me. And then you see Sid and Morgan in the corner, like, whispering, and we're going to take care of this, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then
needless to say, and I don't remember if that happened before or after the other thing, but then Morgan turns up kind of deed. He has had his brain removed. And they now start researching demons that need the heart and the brain or organs of people, and come up with one of 7 different demons. And I'm not sure if it's one of 7 or like if there's just a group of them, but I remember them saying that one of 7 demons.
I think it's some kind of the ritual or the book. It could have been one of 7.
Yes, who take possession of human bodies, and they need these things. So anyway, they suspect Morgan. When Morgan turns up dead, well, now they're really confused. So they start researching more, and they come up with the fact through Morgan's medical records that were very easily hacked by, high schoolers, that Morgan had a form of brain cancer. His brain was not healthy. Of course. So Xander and Buffy are very concerned for Willow. They don't have the doll anymore. Willow is super brain girl, so they think obviously she's going to be the next.
Kind of just before that, Buffy goes to find Sid, and it turns out that he's an actual hunter for.
Right. They have it out, and Sid can hold his own against the Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, it turns out he's actually a hunter, a demon hunter himself, and was cast into the puppet. The way to break the spell is to take down the demon. The what's his name?
We don't actually. The demon doesn't have a name. That I know of. I didn't. It just says one of 7 demons who may take. So I don't know that we ever got his name. But that's rude.
I've got a name. No.
I do love that Giles's way, or they come up with this plan when talking with Sid. You're right, because this all happened before they found Malcolm, and they think he must be the one. Malcolm, not Malcolm. Morgan. Too many M's in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, lots of M's.
So, again, Sid and Buffy now realize they're on the same side and that they are looking for this demon, whatever he shall be named. And they recommend to Giles, before they thought, Morgan, let's see who's missing from the circle. So call what they call a power circle, which is like the rah pep moment before you go out on stage for the first show.
It happens on set as well. People kind of get like,
circle.
Let's do
Pump
this.
And then this way he can tell who's not there.
A pump up.
And at the same time, one of the kids, I guess that's how we could know his name, the magician, the kid that wants to be the magician. I'll find out his name.
What was the Mark. Mark's the kid's name. The magician kid.
So he's like, hey, Giles, I need you to help me out with this big trick I got going on here. So he straps him to a guillotine and then puts the head here. And he's like, don't you? Yeah. It's supposed to go on my neck. And he's like, no, this way we get the brain just pops right out into the pan. And it's
that's what you do.
And he's like, what's the trick? And he's like, there's no trick. So now Giles realized he's strapped in here. He's apt. And this kid, Max, is just chopping the string, which honestly, you have an axe that should have gone through in one shot. But anyway, he's chopping the string to make the guillotine fall.
Yeah.
Buffy to the rescue. And
Xander grabs the rope.
And then Willow helps Giles
chop out the lock because they can't find the key, because obviously the Max got it at this point. Young magician guy who lost his rabbit at one point, which is kind of adorable. So bumbling magician is actually the demon in disguise. When Buffy kicks him once really hard or punches him, comes up and the side of his face is ripped off the human skin, and she goes, ew. Like, a very Buffy moment of ew. Takes down the baddie bad. That's when we come to realize that, again, Morgan had the brain cancer. They were going for Giles with his enormous frontal squishy lobes. With his big brain.
With his giant brain. So again, another episode that's, silly but fun. And I do love these little monsters.
It's fun. I mean, as we said last week, Monster of the Week are great.
Yeah. And this guy that he does the voice, he does a lot of voices. I was looking him up, but Sid, R.I.P. Sid. So again, what we found out is once they kill this monster, because he didn't have the brain in the heart yet. If he had had the brain in the heart, they would have been effed. They would have never been able to figure out who he was. So they stop him before this. He's able to be killed. And Buffy, she kills him, but then he goes, no, it's not enough. You have to,
Yeah. It kind of comes to the point where they realize that
he's like,
oh,
stab him in the heart. You got to take the heart too.
Yeah, and, it's and Sid kind of took over essentially because he knew that his body that he should go back into was too old.
It was from the 20s,
yeah. And he kind of, even though it was a
noir was the word,
and a pervy puppet, he kind of knew it was all over for him body-wise.
Which was cool, because he had been a tiny little man that couldn't get laid in a very long time.
Yeah,
and even before that, he might have been a tiny
very frustrating tiny little man.
Yeah, love tiny little man. I just had a flashback to a meme your husband sent earlier.
That gives me flashback myself, but that's a meme that my husband said. But then seriously, people need to keep me off CGI stuff at the moment, and
I love it.
Cursed AI.
Well, AI us. I need Nicole to get us some new refaces because I'm not paying for it.
But it's been
anyway, so what is your thoughts on episodes?
I mean, I love puppets and dolls and clowns, so I kind of love this episode. I love Sid. I think he's the thing for me in this episode. It's a really nice episode. I love it, and I kind of love the fact that the ending piece with Giles still on the table. And of course, Buffy holding the puppet and the knife and everything and the whole scene and everyone and Schneider. I mean, shout out, he's like,
then
I don't get it.
Curtains open up.
What an end, I love that.
What is it? Avant-garde? It's just
I don't get it.
Like, that was a brilliant ending. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, 2 great episodes yet again, and I feel Monster of the Week, very, but brilliant, you know.
I don't think there is a bad episode. Even the ones
No.
that people complain about the most, I still like them. They still entertain me.
There may be things I may have problems with when we get further on.
Yeah, there's one. There's one scene of one episode which you and I both know we don't like, and
yeah. I mean that's fair enough.
Seasons ahead of
I
us.
feel that's kind of universal, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
but there's other ones in certain seasons that have certain character issues. We'll see. We'll get to that
when we get there. So you were saying earlier about there was no music in these 2 episodes, and as we know, Claire is our resident music expert, so we leave all things the music to her.
Unusually, and I feel it's not very often, I don't think we'll come across it much, we have no music in these 2 episodes this week, apart from the opening titles, which we know we've discussed that in the openers. So I'm kind of going to go to I watched something viral or something. You know, it's like you're on your phone, you're watching things. I think came up about Ed Sheeran or Ed Sheeran, English American. I'll try and do it both ways. About it's just about a new documentary out.
Because we're not Sheeran.
Sheeran is kind of what. Yeah, I've heard it said the other way.
I was just curious which one was American.
I've heard it said the other way. You know. Okay. But basically, like, I came across a thing about it's just on a new documentary. Basically, I feel about his tours and his life and everything. And in that, he actually talked about it's later on what we talk about the goddess scythe, which comes later on in the Buffyverse, which is actually part of the Buffy emblem from the beginning, essentially, with that in there. And he's a big Buffy fan, and I didn't realize he talks about the fact that Bad Habits, his song and his video, is literally about Buffy and his love for it. I've watched the video.
Put the link. I don't think I've ever heard that song.
I'm going to put in description on the video that's not live on the other upload that we put up, which comes up every week, guys. If you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. I'm going to put a link up. I feel you need to listen to the song and watch the video for me, for the simple reason that it's kind of about Buffy, and you can so see it, but it's more about Buffy and Spike.
So if you haven't watched the show, you might not hit all that.
I'm going to try and feel the things of the weeks we don't have music, where there's something that could be really fun.
A neat Buffy fact. I love you.
It's just a little thing.
And it's awesome, like you.
Yeah, and it's relevant. I mean, for me as a Buffy fan, I get it. I get what he's trying to say. He's obviously a Buffy fan.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many of us out there, you don't even realize it. I've met people, and I tell them I'm doing this. I don't know if anybody's ever gone back and liked and subscribed, but when I was at Spooky Empire, I mentioned it to a couple of people, and they're like, I love Buffy. I'm going to totally.
Yeah, I've had some messages recently. And again, what Joe said, a couple of friends have said to me recently, I want to go back and watch it now. Well, good. Go back and watch it. Come and talk to us.
Please do, and then join us. You know, either write in or come on the show, or we did for Canadian Boy Ryan last week. If you need a different time and it's within our power, we'll work on that for you.
Thanks again to Ryan last week. You're the best.
He was awesome. I love that guy so much. I can't ever see a dinosaur without thinking of him.
Dinosaur.
That's where you run.
We all have dinosaurs. I feel we're all 5 somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. Either a 5-year-old kid or a 12-year-old boy. That is the extent of our.
Yeah. We have the 5 or 5 by 5.
5 by 5. Oh, I love you. So on that note, I think we'll call this episode. It was, gosh, wonderful as always to talk to you, my friend, and to everybody else that's watching. Thank you. Please subscribe and like and leave comments and let us know.
Absolutely.
Be nice about it if there's anything you would like us to do differently.
Come and talk to us. We'd love to hear from everyone.
Yeah, it would just be fun. All right, guys. Love you so much. Have a great day.
So much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.